everyone, today I'm here to do a review for you. Today I'm going to be talking about the duology, The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee. I pronounced that wrong, I apologize very immensely, but yeah, I'm talking about the duology. So the first book is obviously The Wrath and the Dawn, and the last book is The Rose and the Dagger, which I just finished. So basically I'm going to talk briefly what I thought about The Wrath and the Dawn, then I'm going to talk a little bit about The Rose and the Dagger. I will try to keep it as spoiler-free as much as possible, and I will forewarn you if I do talk about spoilers, if and when I do. You never know where it's gonna go. The Wrath of the Dawn is basically a 1001 Nights retelling. So if you're into Aladdin and that type of thing, this is definitely the book for you. It's all about, we follow the main character named Shahrazad, I hope I pronounced that right. She goes by Shazi more than likely. She has volunteered herself to become the bride of the Caliph. And basically what happens is every night the Caliph pretty much takes on a new bride, and by the morning the bride ends up dead. This has happened for many, many brides, and it so happens that Shazi's best friend happens to become one of the brides, and she gets murdered. So Shazi she signs herself willingly up for this case to become the bride because she's going to murder Khalid, the Caliph, and discover why he's doing this, and that's her main goal in this. And of course, she gets married, things happen, things do not progress the way she wants to, she learns more things. This book was so amazing. This is one of my favorites from last year, I believe. I'm pretty sure I read it last year. Time goes on and you just don't remember. The writing is beautiful. I love the stories. The real stories of 1001 Nights flow into the story because she tells Khalid these things. Shazi is such an amazing character. She has quickly become one of my favorite female protagonists. She is just amazing. She is kick butt. She is very confident. She is reckless somewhat, and it's just amazing. The romance in this is beautiful. This world has been woven in, and it has magic in it, and it's just an amazing book to get lost into. So that's all I really want to talk about this because I don't want to spoil it too much. Just know you're getting in for a great adventure when you read this series, and it's such an amazing series. And like I said, it's a duology, which, by the way, this is my first duology I've ever read, so that's pretty exciting. And it's one of my favorite series, and you know, it's a duology, but I still consider it a series, I guess, I don't know, but it's one of my favorites ever because the writing and the romance and just everything was amazing about it. I gave this one last year a 4 out of 5. If I were to give The Rose and the Dagger rating, it would be 5 out of 5. This book had me captivated. I loved it more than The Wrath and the Dawn. I don't know if a lot of people feel that way, but I do. I felt more connected to the characters of the second one. I felt more romance in it, even though it had kind of less romance in a way. I don't know how to explain that, but I really loved The Rose and Dagger more. And if you haven't read this book, please read it because it's such an amazing book. I think it's gotten a lot of hype on BookTube and stuff, and this I think really warrants it. The story was amazing, the writing was amazing, and I like how it's different from a lot of YA stuff where, you know, I love the romance. The romance sometimes I feel with YA books, not all of them by the way. Some, I feel like the relationship, the girl always needs to be saved, she has to have a protector, and I feel with Shazi's and Khalid's relationship, it's very much, they are very strong on their own. They both know they can hold their own, you know. He knows that his wife is not a prize to be won. She's not meant to be retrieved. He knows at the end of the day she can handle herself, and she knows that he can handle himself. And I think it's very healthy. They have a very healthy relationship, even though they go into it married pretty much. Like as soon as they meet, hey, we're married. Yeah, but I really think they do have a healthy relationship because they understand one another, and pick up this book, you will not be disappointed. Now, I am going to be talking briefly about The Rose and the Dagger, so I will say if you have not read The Wrath and the Dawn, please don't watch any further because I probably will be spoiling some stuff if you have not read the first book, so I don't want to do that. So like I said, I really loved The Rose and the Dagger, and I put this book off for a while because, I don't know, I was just nervous about it, I guess, but you know, I was very nervous because the cliffhanger of The Wrath and the Dawn, how it left how Khalid and Shazi were separated, and you're just like, oh no, we wanted more of them, we wanted more of them. But I liked how they were separated because you got to see more of herself on her own, you got to see him on his own, and how, you know, they functioned basically without each other. But I thought that I was also worried because with second books sometimes, and I thought this is, and I forgot this is a duology, but second books sometimes the love interest will get split up and they won't get reunited to the very last bit of the book, and I was really worried that was going to happen. I was like, watch, they're going to get reunited in the last 50 pages and that's all we're going to have. I was so worried about that because I'm like, I need more. If this is a duology, I need more. But they're only really separated for about 150 pages, and this is about a 400-page book, I'm going to say. Yeah, pretty much a 400-page book. So we got a lot of them together, which I loved. I love watching them progress and how much their love has grown, how much they trust one another. It was just amazing. I loved all the new characters we got to meet. Artem, I think that's his name. And I loved meeting Shazi's sister, Isra. I'm mispronouncing all the names wrong because I am just horrible. But I loved her. I thought their relationship as sisters was just so dynamic. It was so beautiful, and you don't get too many like siblings in fantasies, honestly. You get some, but not nearly enough. And I loved their relationship and their father. the father that you come to know and love in The Wrath of the Dawn, you see him do some things you didn't want to see him do in the last half of the book, and then this book, you're just like, who is this man? This magic evilness has taken over him, and it's just, and the magic carpet, oh my gosh, I love how the magic carpet was weaved into this, and how Shazi wrote it. It was just so amazing. I love how they have those little snippets of like Aladdin and 1001 Nights in it. There were a couple heartbreaking things that happened in this book. If you have read it, you know exactly and who I'm talking about. That was just very heartbreaking. I was very sad about that. And the very last of the book, like I felt like the last half flew by. Like a lot of the action took place in the last like 50 pages, I want to say. Like so much happened. And another huge thing that happened was, like, I will say spoiler warning, when Khalid got stabbed, I thought that was the end. I was like, all of this for nothing. What is life? What is life? What is happening? And then how Chelsea's father redeemed himself and pretty much sacrificed himself. It was just amazing in the end, where they have a child and so many feelings. But this book was such a whirlwind. I will say the very first half was kind of slow, but I actually like that kind of slow burning thing. I don't know, I felt like it fit for this book. I felt like we got to learn more about the political stuff, like, you know, with the camp and all that kind of stuff. I did enjoy that. But overall, like I said, I love this series, this duology. It was amazing, and I'm so happy to have read it. And this is definitely one of my favorite books of the year so far. It's just got such a beautiful adventure. It has a lot of romance weaved into it. Not so much where you want to, like, this is too much romance, but she balances out really, really well, which I really enjoyed. So like I said, I gave this book a 5 out of 5. One of my favorites. I love just everything about it, except for some heartbreaking stuff. If you have read this book, please let me know. Leave me a comment, tell me what you thought of it, because I would just love to know what you thought, because it's such a good duology and I just love it so much. And I'm sorry if I rambled. I have a lot of feelings sometimes and I just can't say them all right. I'm sure I'm missing things, but I want to try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. But basically what I'm trying to say is, I love this duology for the world, for the adventure, for the magic, how it's kind of woven in there, and how the 1001 Nights thing. It's just basically a beautifully written, beautifully romanced, beautiful world duology, and I'm so happy to have read it. If you like this rambling thing of a review, please give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.